The first time I set foot on Zelthara, I knew I wasn't supposed to be there. Humanity's interstellar expansion was still tentative. Most colonies clung to survival on barely habitable rocks, and our diplomatic efforts with alien civilizations were careful, cautious, and usually doomed by mutual suspicion. But I was not part of any government initiative. I was a contractor, a frontier technician, the kind of person who patched together mining rigs on asteroids or recalibrated broken hydroponics bays when colonists screamed for help. Which is how I ended up on Zelthara, a planet glowing with emerald skies and towering crystal flora that pulsed faintly with their own light. The local inhabitants, the Zalari, were tall, elegant beings with skin like shimmering pearl and eyes that shifted color with their moods. And two of them, Lyra and Kaelen, would turn my life upside down. I met Lyra first. She was the daughter of a clan elder, a warrior scholar whose beauty was matched only by her sharp wit. When she spoke, her voice seemed to resonate inside my bones. Her eyes glimmered like shifting galaxies, and she laughed at my clumsy human attempts to bow in Zalari greeting. Kaelen, on the other hand, found me 2 days later, while I was repairing a collapsed energy conduit in the city of Thales. Unlike Lyra, she was no scholar. She was a huntress, quick and fierce, with scars she wore proudly. She tested me constantly, challenging me to keep pace as she leapt across crystalline cliffs or dragged me into the wilderness to show me beasts that made Terran lions look like house cats. Both of them, impossibly, were drawn to me. And that's where the trouble began. First, I thought it was a misunderstanding. Humans, I knew, were considered an oddity among the Zalari. Fragile yet stubborn, creative in ways they found baffling. Maybe Lyra and Kaelen saw me as a novelty, a curiosity. But soon, their interest went far beyond polite fascination. Lyra asked me endless questions about Earth's history, our music, our myths of gods and lovers. She seemed enchanted by the way I told stories, by my human tendency to wrap facts in emotion. Kaelen, by contrast, wanted proof of my strength. She thrust alien blades into my hands, daring me to spar. She shoved strange fruits into my mouth before I could ask what they were, laughing when I gagged at the bitter taste. She declared loudly to her peers that the human has courage, even if his bones are soft. It wasn't long before the two of them noticed each other. The first time they clashed, I nearly lost my ears. Lyra had invited me to one of her people's lunar ceremonies, a dance beneath 3 silver moons. Kaelen stormed in midway through, eyes burning red, and announced before the entire gathering that I was hers to claim. The Zalari didn't duel with fists. They dueled with words first, with poetry that cut like blades. Lyra responded in kind, her verses dripping disdain, accusing Kaelen of being nothing more than a savage huntress unworthy of me. Kaelen roared in return, challenging her to a physical contest. Before I knew it, I had 2 alien women circling each other in the middle of a moonlit courtyard, declaring that my fate depended on their victory. I tried to intervene. I shouted that humans weren't prizes to be won, that I wasn't some kind of exotic pet they could squabble over. But the more I resisted, the more determined they became. It escalated over weeks. Everywhere I went, one of them followed. Lyra with her gentle intelligence, Kaelen with her raw passion. They sabotaged each other constantly. If Lyra brought me gifts of glowing starflowers, Kaelen would trample them underfoot and replace them with trophies from her hunts. If Kaelen led me to hidden caves of luminous crystals, Lyra would appear with a song that made my heart ache with longing. I was trapped in the middle of an escalating cold war of affection. And secretly, shamefully, I loved every second of it. Because the truth was, I was falling for both of them. Humans aren't supposed to think that way. Our culture, at least where I came from, valued exclusivity. One heart, one partner. But every time I tried to choose, something inside me rebelled. Lyra's wisdom lit a fire in my mind. Kaelen's ferocity set my blood racing. How could I abandon either one? It all came to a head during the Festival of Starlight. The entire Zalari capital gathered beneath the auroras that painted the sky in shifting rivers of green and violet. Lyra approached me first, dressed in flowing robes that shimmered like liquid moonlight. She whispered that she had convinced her family to accept me, that she could make me part of her clan if I swore myself to her. Before I could respond, Kaelen burst from the crowd, clad in armor of bone and crystal. She seized my hand and declared that she had bested 3 rivals already, and tonight she would claim me before all witnesses. The square fell silent. Hundreds of Zalari eyes fixed on us. I stood between 2 women ready to fight to the death over me. Something inside me snapped. No! I shouted louder than I'd ever spoken. The auroras seemed to tremble with my voice. I am human, and I will not be a prize passed between warriors or scholars. I will not be forced to choose when my heart belongs to both of you. The crowd gasped. Lyra's eyes widened, shifting from blue to violet. Kaelen froze, her hand still gripping mine. I love you both, I said, voice shaking. And if that breaks your customs, if that shames your people, then I'll leave this world tonight and never return. Ending. For a long moment silence ruled. I thought I had lost them both. Then Lyra stepped forward, her voice trembling. Among the Zalari, love is sacred. To divide it is unthinkable. But perhaps your human ways are different. Kaelen growled. If he leaves, I will follow him into the void. If he stays, I will not surrender him. Let the stars judge us. Their eyes met, warrior and scholar, rivals who had never agreed on anything. Yet in that moment something shifted. They saw my desperation, my refusal to betray my own heart. And to my astonishment, they yielded. The festival turned into a ceremony unlike any the Zalari had ever seen. Instead of one binding vow, there were 3. Lyra placed a crystalline circlet upon my brow, Kaelen clasped her warrior's talisman around my wrist, and I swore not to divide my love but to honor both with equal devotion. Some elders grumbled, whispering that such a union would bring chaos. Others, especially the young, cheered the idea of defying tradition. That night, beneath a sky alive with auroras, I became the husband of 2 alien women who had once been ready to kill for me. Life after that was anything but simple. Lyra demanded I study her people's ancient texts, and I found myself stumbling through alien philosophy late into the night. Kaelen dragged me into wilderness hunts where I learned to fight beasts that would terrify any Terran marine. Their rivalry never completely faded, but it transformed. Instead of fighting over me, they pushed me, challenged me, forcing me to grow beyond the fragile human I had been. Became something else. Not just a wanderer, not just a contractor. I became the bridge between them, between warrior and scholar, between human and alien. Years later, when Earth's diplomats finally came to Zelthara, they found me already there, living proof that humans and Zalari could not only coexist but thrive together. They asked how I had managed such an impossible feat.